Here we are. We are live. All right, buddy. It is the Sunday show. Arsenal Fan Circle here. Welcome, everybody. Hope you are still in delirium from that result yesterday. And what I have to say is we need to be beating Bournemouth by different scorelines than 3-2 and taking 97 minutes to do that. But I also recognize we're going to have games where we're 2-0 down or 1-0 down. And we got to come back. And that's the mark of potential champions here. The mark of potential champions. So welcome everybody to the show. Welcome, Tony. How are you doing, Tony?
Feeling a little bit better, but still can feel a little bit better more.
Welcome in Henry Ray Baker as well. Evening, Ray and Co. Sorry to hear the news about Stephen. Indeed, rest in peace, Stephen. And we hope that he was watching that game yesterday and watching the football. Liverpool beating, was it 7-0 in the end? Manchester United by 7 goals. Yeah. Craig says, big up. Arsenal have got to stop conceding goals the way they're doing sooner rather than later. Our luck will run out. Definitely, Craig, we're conceding too many goals and we need to tighten up at the back. At 60 minutes, Tony, it didn't look like we'd be able to get ourselves out of a hole that we were in at 2-0 down.
Yeah. These bottom teams are fighting to not be in relegation. They're to play hard, but this is a team we should still easily beat. So they've never been 2-0 down. But we got lucky. We got Nelson bailing us out at the end of it. Nice clinical strike. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, let's linger on the winner, right? 97 minutes, and before anyone's talking about out of time and 6 minutes out of time went into 7, we have to recognize there was a lot of time wasting from Bournemouth. Goalkeeper was wasting time in the kickouts as they have been doing now. Players taking throw-ins. They've been passing the ball from the midfielder to the fullback. Here, you take the throw in and you're wasting 15, 20 seconds there. Any kind of a free kick, the player will walk over the free kick, walk past the free kick and leave the next player. So there was a rotation of Bournemouth players wasting time and trying to eke out the final seconds of that game. Listen, we understand that. They're down at the bottom, Tony, and they're fighting for survival, as you said. So they're going to try these things. But I do ask the question to myself, if it is the best tactic to be wasting time, because we've seen it now on a couple of occasions. It's coming back.
You've seen it all year. That's why there have been so many 9 or 10 minutes of extra time. I've never seen it that many.
Yeah,
that long of games. You don't see them playing 100 minutes too often. Yep. But this season,
some of that is down to VAR checks, and some of that's down to actual time wasting. But I think
a lot of time wasting.
Teams have to take a look at themselves and say, we're losing games in added time, and we don't need to. If you play the game at a pace, and also, Tony, I think the referee is responsible for the management of the game, and he allowed.
Yeah, need to start blowing it more. It was 2-3 games ago that they're blowing it on both sides on our game, and I don't think ours was much of a delay tactic because Tomiyasu was trying to find an open guy for a throw in, and
yeah,
took him a while. When he found it, he threw it in. But
Craig said Eric Seven Hag, definitely United. I think that is a spillover from winning the Carabao Cup last weekend. Their mindset, first and foremost, Tony, your mindset has to be ready to play. And going to Liverpool's mindset are set on top 4 now. We face them in 4 games from now, right? So we're gonna have to be ready for Liverpool. And look, we won't face that Liverpool team that played today because every game is a little bit different. Craig also said Man City last game before the international break is postponed because of the FA Cup, so we can go 8 points clear. Wow, Man City's last game is postponed before the international break. We need to take advantage of these things. It has a lovely ring to it, that's for sure. 7-0. Eric 7 Hag. Wife 10 Hag. Honey, wake up, it's 8. 10 Eric 10 Hag. What? They've scored again. He might have nightmares tonight, all right. Craig, the defense has been iffy since the World Cup break. Yeah, we definitely we played 14 games for that World Cup break, and we won 12 of those, drew 1 and lost only 1 as well.
And we only had conceded like 11 goals at that point. Now we've conceded 23, so
yeah,
we've almost doubled it.
Double the amount in
time.
in less amount of games. Ray had the temerity to complain that my show was late. Yeah, listen, I wanted to make you feel better. I wanted to make you feel better to think, Mr. Tom, that other podcasts can be running late as well. So I did that for you. Assembled evening, everyone. Ray, Tony, you beautiful sausages. I'll take that. I've been called worse. Let's all laugh at United. Says Stephen Denham. Where have you been, Stephen
Where
Denham?
the fuck is my biggest fan been?
Good to see you back, Stephen Denham. Good to have you back. But where have you been? I hope life is treating you well. Heidi assembled. Rolling on the floor laughing. Man, you're in the dung. And hopefully Mahir can join us this evening as well. I'm up for a good old laugh at Manchester United Fest. Evening, everyone. Evening, Russ. So, Tony, Stephen, let's not laugh at United. We've got to go to Anfield yet. That's true, assembled, but we won't lose 7-0. I think we're gonna put my reputation on the line and say we won't win. We won't lose at Anfield 7-0. I'm just gonna say that right now. We might lose there, and let's remember Man City lost there as well. So Anfield is a tough place to go to, Tony.
Yeah, it's hard to play there. A lot of teams don't pick up points there. And they're on a hot streak right now. So
yeah,
hopefully we can
Liverpool.
win.
Liverpool fans are going to be asking Tony. Going to be asking where has that Liverpool team been all season? They seem to be picking up a little bit of pace now.
Yeah, I think they just finally figured out what players to put in there since our midfield was so horrible, and your second favorite team is starting to win, right?
Yeah. Stephen Denham said, I've been going to the gym, weights, then 10-mile cardio, so knackered on a night. And let's welcome in Mahir to the podcast. United fans online were laughing at Arsenal when we brought on Nelson, saying we needed goals and bring him on. His assist and goal silence that lot.
Who eats more on the show?
Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear everything clearly.
So how about we laugh at Man United is ridiculous? So what? Is that even a word?
Yeah. Mr. Tom is part of a unique club here. Leeds have one at Anfield, so it's not for everyone. Hopefully we can join that club next month, Mr. Tom.
I just want to shout out to you guys. Shout out to the panel. Much love. As you guys can see, it's a bit busy. We have load shedding now. It's 10 o'clock, so I should be with you guys for at least half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah. What a result, says Stefan. If we're talking about the Liverpool's result right now. Yesterday was the first Arsenal starting 11 to have never played for Wenger since one deployed in 1986. Yeah, And Granit Xhaka was the one who was bridging that gap, between 86 and now. I've been going to the gym weights. Stephen, hope you're all good, Stephen, as well. So, Tony, that Reis Nelson goal, right? We've all been watching that over and over again, right? So I've seen many aspects to this. Benjamin White occupies the goalkeeper. Gabriel Magalhaes occupies the defender who's trying to close in on the Reis Nelson, and but the ball is cleared by the header, and it drops to Reis Nelson. Now there's three parts to this goal. He takes it on the chest, he controls it with his right foot, and what a hit on the left, Tony.
Yep, from almost 17 yards out, right at the 18-yard box. Wonderful strike. Goalkeeper might have been able to save it if he kind of went a little earlier, but he was late reacting to it. But up in the top corner, nice clinical strike like we needed. We had 31 shots and 9 on target this time.
So we were a little bit more to your liking, right? What we needed to do.
Yeah, still like to see us more accurate.
Yeah. There was a lot of shots over the bar. Erdegaard, I think, was very responsible for a lot of shots over the bar. We weren't getting them on target.
Yeah, I like this being clinical. Like Bournemouth had 4 shots, then all 4 were on target.
Tony's analysis: Liverpool picked the right players. Exactly why he's my co-host on Wednesdays. I hope you guys enjoyed our roasting of the pretenders today. Yeah, Man United. Man here. Man Manure.
Manure. Na Manure FC.
Good weekend for Stephen. We keep the gap to City. Tottenham lose. United get embarrassed more than we did against them in 18 loss. Yeah. Those guys needed humbling.
My hair's in the darkness.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my cat back inside because I don't like her when she's sitting. She sometimes bumps on our balcony, like, and the drop. I don't know how far cat can drop, but come inside. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Sorry about that, guys.
So, Mahir, what was your thoughts on the let's bring it back to Arsenal here, talking about Liverpool beating United 7-0, but Arsenal yesterday got themselves into a predicament, got themselves into a hole, 2-0 down after 60 minutes.
I mean, I think it's the second fastest goal that's ever been scored in the beginning of a match, which was 9 seconds. And I thought, oh, here we go again. Are we going to really show these people how much we want the title, how much passion we have? And then we went 2-0 down. I'm thinking, oh my days. I mean, I would be more comfortable with having a 5-point lead, because then you give City the opportunity to slip. As we've seen in the past few weeks. Any game is up for grabs. I mean, even we could have slipped. So I'm thinking, okay, 2. And then I was lucky enough to catch now the second half when there was electricity just switched on. I was like, yeah, I've seen the first goal, I've seen the second, and I've seen the third, all live and direct in the 98th minute. We're going to discuss all of the goals, but glorious scenes of extreme nausea, because I literally felt like I was going to throw up. These guys are going to kill me one of the days. That's 3 comebacks. That's 3 full comebacks. There's been more than 5, 6, but in recent games, 3, 4-2, and this 3-2, and what was the other game?
United.
Of another one.
Against United.
Oh my, yeah, and United, and when you were,
we were a goal down. We were a goal down against them.
Yeah, they can shut their mouths. Title race. But tell me, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you and Ray think. I mean, about that amazing match that we witnessed.
On our match or the
Yeah,
Liverpool one?
yeah, but Bournemouth won. Bournemouth.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we should have ever been 2-0 behind. But it's nice to see this team always keeps fighting. Even when we score a goal and the other team, we always usually score back. This one we're a little late on that. But overall, we got the 3 points. That's what's matter. But I think we definitely need to do some work on our defense. I don't know what's happened since our World Cup break. We're allowing way too many goals.
Yeah.
We have to be clinical to win the games we are. If not, there'll be a lot of draws and losses.
Yeah, we're
Last
not
2
gonna.
months of the season.
I think we have goals in this team, but you don't want to go to that well each and every time, and try to score 3 goals each game. It's not going to get 3 points every weekend. Any news on Trossard injury? Says Stephen last night. It didn't sound good, but I'm hopeful. A muscular injury, as far as I know, and we will have to speak up because Mr. Tom's in the bath, and now everyone has that mental image, right? Not seen the Revenant in a while. Sorry, Mr. Tom, you meant starting 11, not including subs. Came home from work and turned the match on just in time to see Reis hammer at home. I could not believe it was the winner. I expected us to be 2 or 3-0 up. I was shocked. Yeah, listen, you get to the start right at the start of the game. I think it was between 9 and 11 seconds. There is encroachment at the kickoff, but that really doesn't matter in terms of what happened. In terms of
Yeah,
our
they don't
defending.
usually call that anyway. So.
No. Ball out to the right wing, Tony. Ball comes in. Gabriel Magalhaes is trying to cover the player that's gone ahead of him. So he's anticipating the ball coming to the near post. And the ball is actually played behind him. I think Magalhaes tries to get a touch or defend it, and it deflects off of him and through past Saliba and toward Billings, and he just slots it away quite easily over Ramsdale. What are your thoughts on it, Tony?
I don't think Saliba gets in position fast enough a lot of the times because it's like Gabriel on a island. If not, Ramsdale has to run out and try to grab the ball before it's kicked. But you can see they switched it since we restarted. It seems like Saliba's playing further to the right and a little further up the pitch. He's been out of position a lot, and I've lost count of how many times Gabriel's just on an island by himself. You can't really blame him when he doesn't have any help.
Really, though, I feel like the concentration wasn't there. You're expecting to get yourself into the game, make a tackle, make an interception, and the first few seconds you're caught cold out here. Taib is here in the house, saying hello to my here brother my here. I hope Arsenal win the league, so I've got no reason to avoid these streams. And Tom is saying, Tony, to be clear, I was happy you won a 2-0 down. I'm on the road trip saying you will overturn this. This will happen for Arsenal. No one, there we go. I'm rooting for the Gunners to win the title. Yeah, we have a lot of support from Liverpool fans, which is good to see because I think I at least compare what we're doing to what Liverpool have done in the last few years. It's hard to compare Arsenal to a Chelsea, to a City, or even to a Newcastle. Not even talking about Tottenham because they get battered everywhere they go, and they're not a team that you should compare yourself to. But Liverpool have built their team in the right way, and we want the same at Arsenal. We want the same type of success that Liverpool have had.
Yeah, one thing I do, they know how to sell players. For us, either players perpetually out on loan, we buy out the contract, or they just stick around until it's over, then finally move on. But we don't get the money if we shit on players. Iwobi was our last decent sell. Other than
Yeah.
that, it's
I think we've
been
gotten to
tough
a point.
sledding for us on sales.
I think we've gotten to a point, Tony, where we are getting the club back in order, and we have players now, and we have players on loan that are probably going to be sold as well. You know, I'm thinking Tavares, I'm thinking Lakonga, Kieran Tierney could even get sold. You know, he might be a player who wants a fresh challenge. Mahir, he may
Yeah.
want a fresh challenge.
I think
know?
he'll definitely be out.
I also think so, but I just don't want to see that many.
Yeah. With the Europa League now coming up, we will want to see, and we want to see more involvement with these players. Kieran Tierney, even Kivior should get a game, maybe in Lisbon on Thursday night. Rob Holding, dare I say it, even Rob Holding, you know what I mean? Tommy Asu, all of these players need to come in. Rev and I said, you guys got great attacking talent that hasn't developed the finishing yet, but they will come good. I just worry your defense and keeper are not great, Tom. Yeah. We have the finished article maybe on a Martinelli, definitely on a Saka. Saka's been carrying us, not carrying us all alone, but we've looked for Saka to win games for us, and he's done that. Tony, what did you believe happened with that left side? The Bournemouth manager said they played the ball there on purpose.
I'm not really sure what was going on there.
A deliberate ploy to overload that left side, play the ball to the right, get a cross in. Not a bad tactic from them. We've seen our defense be a little bit suspect if quick ball gets into the box, you know. I did respect the Bournemouth manager for not complaining about the celebrations. Yeah. You guys got your own Mane, Salah with Saka and Martinelli. Exactly. And Rev and I just compared Saka to Sadio Mane in the last podcast, thinking he gives us the same type of stuff that Sadio Mane gave Liverpool in the past. Do you think Saka and Unai Emery was a blessing in disguise or not? Yeah, probably. Looking at where we are now, Tony. You're on mute.
I said I'll be right back.
Okay. Tony is a big fan of Unai Emery. So Tony's going to be right back. It's going to be one of those podcasts where you're going to hear my voice the most probably, and hopefully my voice holds up. But I got my hair as well, so I'm going to bounce off the chat. I'm going to bounce off my hair a little bit. So Bournemouth score right from the start. Erdegaard has a couple of quick shots. Mahir, a couple of quick shots, but they are over the bar. Goalkeeper saves. On the 20th minute, Ramsdale makes a key save on a counterattack.
Sorry, I just had to jump outside.
Yeah, no problem. I thought that it was very, very vital the stops that Aaron Ramsdale made in this game.
100%. 100%. I want to know what the chat thinks. There was one stage, I think it was 1-0 up, where a through ball was played by a Bournemouth player, and I think it was 2v1, 2v our keeper.
Yeah.
And came out and made a fantastic save. And aside from all the other ones that I could mention, it's just wow, man. I don't know about I think Assemble said now. Was it Assemble that said about our keeper and our defense? I think it's more so just defense, not so much our keeper, because our keeper has been keeping us in. Pardon the pun, keeping us in a lot of these big games, man.
Yeah.
Where we need to win. I mean,
I've thought that we've been so efficient up front, winning games, that I've actually called for Ramsdale to, win a game for us. If you're going to win the title, you have to have your keeper be very important in that title push. And I thought we played so well in recent games that the keeper hasn't been a factor. We've basically been
Yeah,
scoring goals to cover up our deficit. We can't
but we
really
must
blame.
talk about our defense, though. Our defense, as Tony's saying, we're shipping these shitty ass, pardon my language, these really shitty defensive errors where we just like just watching time go by and letting the moments go by, and like that, bang, Bournemouth 1 up. They take another chance, bang, it's 2-0 up. I mean, we can't keep doing this, man. We
Yeah,
can't
I
keep
agree.
shipping and
If
trying to get 2 or 3 goals back
we got
rather
12 games left in the
man,
league,
but it's not like though.
we got to start tightening up at the back as well. Don Juan said, "Let's all laugh at Man United." When it was bad at 4-0, it was bad, but then they just piled on 5, 6, and 7. Got to go. Keep going, Gunners. Don't want oil leaking.
Oil
Gary
money.
Neville, Gary Neville will have enough to drone on about for a while. Teams will probably Thunder Road is here. Good to see you, Thunder Road. Teams will probably target our left since Zinchenko invert, and they will gamble. He'll be out of position definitely as a result. When Tony, when we signed Zinchenko, I asked my brother-in-law, "What's the deal with Zinchenko? What's he all about?" He said, "Great player, and definitely great on the ball, and can get yourself out of issues going forward. But defensively, he's slightly suspect, and that's all of the things that we've seen from Zinchenko."
And to me, I think he needs to be playing on the left of the midfield, not as left back. I think we're have to just go out and sign a full out left back. I think Tierney could do that job, but the way we play, I think when we're on attack, we should just do a back three because he's either Tierney or Tommy Asu because they're both used to playing center back. That's why they both play for their nations. You see Tierney as left center back. You see Tomiyasu as right center back. But instead, you usually see Gabriel all by himself because Chinko might be halfway up the field. We don't have
Yeah,
Xhaka dropping back, covering.
Mikel
We had,
Arteta. During in the game, we beat Everton 4-0. Tony, Mikel Arteta was asked about Zinchenko because he ended up in the Odegaard position for the first goal, feeding Bukayo Saka. Arteta said, "I'm really annoyed if we concede a goal doing that, but as long as we're getting the benefit, it's going to be okay." You know?
yeah, just to me, I'd like to see a real left back in there.
Yeah, but even though like we have transformed the way we played this season through that position, the inverted left back, which has helped us to pivot up the field. And I think Zinchenko this season has definitely helped our left side. If Granit Xhaka's gone missing, Martinelli's gone missing, I think Zinchenko
Yeah,
is
I've said
definitely
many times to me, Zinchenko's kind of a player of the season, but
yes.
we've changed our tactic and we don't have that guy dropping back to fill in for the space
Yeah.
Zinchenko's left. So
That guy used to be
Gabriel's
Granit
usually on the
Xhaka.
island.
That guy used to be Granit Xhaka.
You don't see Xhaka or Partey dropping back there.
If given the choice, you would always pick Zinchenko over Granit Xhaka to do that role, right?
Yeah.
If you have two
Another
choices,
thing that's changed is Saka was doing lots of defensive work and he's not doing that now. He's staying up more at the attack.
yeah,
So there's just not enough cover back there, but as long as you score more than another team, it's okay.
yep.
I don't like playing that style. I'd rather have
I think
a
we all
solid
would like
defensive
to.
end.
We all, I think, would like to be a little bit more defensively solid, but being defensively solid makes you a Newcastle, right? You're defending more than you're going to attack.
Yeah,
I
but
think
look how good we were doing the first
first
until the break.
14 games.
Yeah, we were doing great with the
Yeah.
defense.
We also had Gabriel Jesus, who was probably helping with the press from the front as well. Stephen said, "Damn, Ramsdale save kept us in the match. Had that got in that early, it could have turned the flow of play in their favor. As it was, they came up big. We came up big, and we were able to keep the pressure on. We just got out of jail. We just got another one. We kind of just got out of jail on in that one." Stephen's got another comment here I wanted to bring up. Zinchenko is the number one problem in Arteta's system. It can be a problem, but it can also be a huge solution. And that's the way Arteta chooses to play. We play on the front foot, and we want to win games and not draw them. And looking at the amount of games that we've won, we've now won 20 games this season. Amazing. We've actually hit the 20 game mark right now. 20 wins. And
I would just like to see either left back or right back come up and fill back there. Then you have three in the back instead of just having two, because usually
well,
you
out
got
of I mean,
way up
in
the
possession we have three at the back, Tony. In possession we probably have three or two at the
field,
back.
and we usually have two up the back in possession.
Um,
Everybody else.
Stephen goes on to say, "Don't get me wrong, I love the guy. I just wish he was a bit better defensively." I don't think he's ever been better defensively, and I don't know if you can coach or teach the player to be better defensively. And we get more out of him going forward than we do
Yeah,
sitting back. I think we're in the
and he's
position
not.
we are in now. Welcome, Stan, by the way. We are in the position we are right now because we've been proactive and trying to win games.
Yeah, I don't think Arteta's ever given him any responsibility for just staying back, covering. He wants him going forward. That's why we did so good early in the season, because you had Zinchenko cutting it towards the middle. You had Zaka cutting that way. You had Martinelli. Then you had Jesus dropping back, helping with the transition and helping everybody go forward there. So it's just different tactics, but I still would like to see us always left back.
Let's bring Stan in. Get your thoughts, Stan, on the back of the assembles comment here. We can't afford not to be switched on for the entire game. I hope that's a lesson learned for Arsenal before it costs us dearly. Hey, Stan.
I think a lot of lessons have been learned from yesterday. And I think that the fashion in which we won yesterday's game is going to teach this young squad a lot in commitment and belief. So I think it was. I'm very happy with the way that it played out, because I think this young team needs to learn along the way, and they're learning on the job. So a valuable lesson, and I thought it was a fantastic way to end the game. My missus sat down and watched that one with me, and she was enthralled from start to finish. And she said, "I love it when games go like that. It's really exciting." I told her that obviously my heart can't take too much more of games like that throughout the season, but I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm not going to use the roller coaster word, Tony. I'm not going to use that roller coaster, but that's what it was like yesterday, and you're going to get games like that. Stan, it didn't look to me after 60 minutes when we went 2-0 down. I was like, well, that's it. We might get back to 2-2, but I don't think we're going to win this game.
Well, at the end of the day, you can't always, try and be the nice guy and play by the rules. And to come back from 2 behind, I thought was fantastic of the team.
Yeah, goal down at halftime. Didn't look like we had a lot to trouble them in the first half. There was so many penalty and VAR claims. We're not going to go unless you want to. I don't feel like going into them individually. So many handballs, but five or six claims, and not even to get a one penalty out of all that. It's okay to complain about it once on the back of a win, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of shouts, but I mean, at the end of the day, we still managed to come out on top. We didn't allow, the referees to stop our game.
Mm-hmm. Tony, so many VAR calls there. So many handballs. The arms coming down. The player's not looking at the flight of the ball. It lands on his arm. There's players trying to block shots with their arms away from their bodies, in my opinion. Arms up to protect their face. That's a penalty. Those are penalties, in my opinion.
Yeah, most of those you would consider penalties. The only thing you have to kind of watch out for is when they do it really close to a player, they're hardly ever going to call that a penalty
Yeah.
when they're within 3 or 4 yards of you.
Here United is trying to pawn off that Carabao Cup. They just won. BX says, "Hey, let them celebrate." Seems like they were celebrating that Carabao Cup win even today. Arsenal winning 9 games out of 12 would win us the Premier League. Exactly right, Craig. And I'm going to go with 89 points as my target. Stan, what's got you giggling there?
That's right. It's just a couple of individuals are making me laugh in the chat box, and they know who they are, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Protagonists, Unai Emery protagonists. That's what they are. Stan tried to play by the rules.
I tried to be a nice guy.
Stan, can you ask Stan about the cabbage pizza? It wasn't cabbage. It was cauliflower.
Give me one moment.
That's what I asked to begin with, if there's one of those cauliflower crust pizza.
It was cauliflower because I saw it on his timeline later. I was like, yeah, we all know about cauliflower pizza. Cabbage pizza? Something different.
It does exist, though.
Cauliflower. And you got cabbage from that?
Fucking 2-pack. It's a 2-pack.
Paquet to the deux. Craig says VAR is not the problem, it's people who are doing it. Definitely. The tools are there, right?
Yep.
You see it I see it in rugby union. I see it in international games. They have the tools, but they're actually using them correctly, Tony. And they're making it transparent.
And Stan's missus is shopping the gluten-free aisle to get the cauliflower.
Cauliflower. You already look stronger for that pizza on Thursday night, Stan.
I never had none.
Does she know you didn't have any?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Did you get in trouble for it?
No, I had McDonald's.
That's a polar opposite.
Damn it, Stan, don't make me laugh. You'll make me
Exactly.
The only legit penalty claim was when Martinelli got hauled down for the second straight match. I don't know. I feel like you have 5 instances of penalty claims. You don't get a 1. 4 blatant penalty decisions overhauled. We are affected every game by referees with agendas. I don't know if it's agendas. I still struggle with that. If it's agenda or if it's incompetency.
You
Ben
have
White
to look at the source of that one. Mr. Russ Morgan, thanks for always getting fucked over by the referees.
Yeah. But his evidence keeps piling up. Like in the police department, the evidence, the paperwork keeps piling up, Tony. Ben White, 2-0 down, said enough is enough and it's time for a change. Cabbage or cauliflower, it still sounds revolting. Yes. That's why, hence the reason why Stan opted for McDonald's, Okay. What were your thoughts, Stan? We had 2 changes, right? Tomiyasu and Teabag, Fabio Vieira. They came into the starting lineup. I thought Tomiyasu struggled to connect with Saka.
Tomiyasu looks like, to me, the last few times I've seen him, he looks to have struggled, make mistakes, turn the ball over. And I don't know whether that's because he's a player that needs to have constant run of games, or it was a case of sometimes when you get a player that comes into a team and they're really excited to be there, they sort of like overperform.
Yeah.
And then when they settle in, when they settle in and they get a little bit more grounded, then you see what their level is. So I don't know I'm not sure what to make of it, but I think he's been a little.
I think it's more injuries than anything.
But he's not injured, is he?
He's missed games from injury.
I think as Stan was talking, I'm thinking more like confidence. He may be low in confidence, and that comes from not getting many minutes or many games under his belt. And he made that mistake against City, right? So, but I think his his understanding with Bukayo Saka and Odegaard is not the same as what Ben White's would be. So I thought Tomiyasu struggled. I was thinking we need to change here at halftime, and Arteta did make that change.
What I like about the changes is as well, it's not like he's making the changes and he's not thinking of the players, he's thinking of the team, and he's making the changes because that's what the team needed. I think with Emile Smith Rowe, I mean, he did get us an assist, right? But he could identify that he was struggling a little bit with the pace of that game. So
Yeah.
you know, maybe another manager would have dilly-dallied a little bit about taking him out and be thinking about how the player would be affected by that. But as he's making a change for the team, and as long as he takes Emile Smith Rowe to the side and explains what his actions are, I don't see it as a problem. It wasn't a case that he was coming on. He wasn't doing an Aboué, was he? Do you know what I mean?
No.
It wasn't like he was coming on and being a nightmare.
On the websites, though, on what I've seen from the websites is that he had an injury is why he came off. But
yeah,
who, Emile Smith Rowe?
Yeah,
I don't think he injured himself. I think the case may be that he had to come on in the 21st minute for Trossard. I actually wrote notes down there. Did I think he was match fit for 70 minutes, that he would get to the end of the 90 and another 10 on top of that? So I question whether Emile Smith Rowe could do 70 minutes, and it came to pass that he couldn't do, and Arteta thought and his coaches thought he wouldn't be able to do the full 70. So that's the reason why he was subbed out, Stan.
Again, though, it was like another happy accident, or the football gobs were intervening again, because I do think that he's had to make a change, right? He's looked over at the bench, right, because the Trossard thing happened. It was a change that he hadn't planned for. So he's looked over at the bench, and Emile Smith Rowe is obviously higher in the pecking order than a Reis Nelson. So he gets the shout. Had Emile Smith Rowe, right, been not coming off the back of injuries and could play the game, and he didn't have to get taken out, we probably wouldn't have seen Reis Nelson. And if we did see him, it probably would have been much, much further in the game. So he had to then look to the bench and think, well, I've got to take him out now. Now what do I do? And then he's given Reis Nelson the nod, and Reis Nelson has paid him back. It's not like the game. It's not like the game. It's not like we were cruising at 4-0 or cruising at 3-0. Reis Nelson's come on and scored a fourth goal. Yeah, happy days, he scored a goal, but we were cruising. He's come on in a very tight situation when, we're looking to get all 3 points to maintain a 5-point cushion at the top of the league. And he's not frozen. He's come in and he's got the winning goal. He's made the difference. Now, if you're the manager now when you look over to the bench, you've got more credibility in Reis Nelson. You're not as wary to think, well, is there anyone else I can put on ahead of Reis?
Yeah, and look, the players you had was Granit Xhaka. He had Granit Xhaka to choose from, Reis Nelson or Emile Smith Rowe. And when it was Trossard who was injured in the 21st minute, we hope obviously Trossard's going to come back to the team pretty soon. But when you have a player of Trossard out who is a winger, then you can't put Granit Xhaka out there,
Nope.
No.
So it was either Nelson or Emile Smith Rowe, and you're right, Stan. Emile Smith Rowe has that standing with the manager and is more of a senior player. Now, Reis Nelson, whenever he's come in now, he has done a job for Arsenal, though, albeit only 3 games. So, Tony, let's have a word about that, Reis Nelson, Emile Smith Rowe.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, is that he only has played 3 games in the Premier League, a little bit more in Europa. But every time he's came in, he's delivered. I still don't like that Arteta only trusts 11 or 12 players. He doesn't seem to trust Nelson.
It's more than that. It's not 11 or 12. He has to trust more than that.
That's all it seems like he trusts. But
he's got 5 substitutes to make, and with varying degrees of trust, he does bring those players in as well when needed. So we talked about Tomiyasu. I think maybe he needs more games. Maybe he's lacking in confidence a little bit. Let's talk about Fabio Vieira, and we'll get to Nelson a little bit later as well. Fabio Vieira, teabag.
I'll do that.
Stan? Yeah. What were your
Gary's
thoughts on his game?
not here.
A lot of people, yeah, Gary's not here, so we are allowed to use that trademarked T, the trademark T word.
Trademark T word.
You know, the T with the circle. Now it's a T with two circles, so it says TB in it. So yeah, who wants to start off with Fabio?
Well, I
there's
said
been-
recently, I think
Yeah,
it was
go
on the last pod, we were talking about him, and I said I felt that very soon, maybe even in the next game, that he's going to start to Teabag will get a start, because he's been bringing him in now quite regularly to come in for Xhaka. So I was wondering, when's he going to actually start him in that position? And he did yesterday. And it's good. He needs those minutes, right? He needs those minutes. And I see him slowly improving. Also, as well, you know, for that position, you want someone who has a little bit more wherewithal when it comes to the attacking part of the game. And I think that Teabag does have that over a Granit Xhaka. And we've seen a couple of times where Granit Xhaka will be almost in the penalty box, and then he'll hesitate. He'll be in two minds of what he's going to do. Am I going to pass it? Am I going to do the shot? Am I going to take the shot? Whereas Teabag, he'll make his decision and just commit to it. He'll already know if he's going to make a pass to try and get an assist or take a shot. And I think you need someone who's going to be a little bit more decisive in that part of the pitch for that position. But obviously with Xhaka, what you get with him is you get a little bit of the, you know, maturity, a little bit of nous, you know, the impact that he has on the team as a personality, and can probably help out a little bit more defensively. But I think going forward, Mikel is going to be opting for a player that has a little bit more decisiveness in that final third.
Mm-hmm. Craig said, what do we do? What are we doing buying Fabio Vieira for? He was like a wet wipe on that pitch. Didn't have the best game, but I think you got to give him games to see the best out of the players. I know Gary's always been, and it's important as well. You got to play your squad, and we're 5 points clear for a reason, because we've been playing the majority of the season with 11, 12 players, as Tony said. Not that they're the favorites or that he trusts them the most. It's just that they're the best players, Tony, that he can put on the field and be sure that he can get 3 points every weekend, you know?
I don't think Xhaka is the best player he can put out there.
I know, but who would you have instead of Granit Xhaka that would give you that consistency? Never thought I'd talk about Granit Xhaka in this way, but this season...
You could put Zinchenko there. You could... There's plenty of players you can put there.
So you would
Trossard can play there
and figure things around a
But
little
Zinchenko
bit.
does play there. He plays at some point in the game. He'll play in every position apart from goal at some point. He's everywhere.
Yeah, as I was saying to Tony, I think just as you were coming on, Mikel Arteta was asked about that, and he said that's fine as long as he doesn't give a goal away, being transitioned on in that position.
I just don't like Gabriel being on the island like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen a left back be given the free role before. I mean, I don't even think Roberto Carlos had the free role.
No.
So I mean, this is new.
Bernardo Silva has been doing it at City, but Arteta's been doing it with Zinchenko all season. So maybe Pep is taking a leaf out of them.
Now, I know a lot of people, as we're talking about Zinchenko and the role that he plays now, I know a lot of people love it. And, you know, I'm looking at it and, you know, he does help out in the midfield. But I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I mean, I still like a 4-4-2 formation with two up front. Yeah. You know, I'm very old like that. And I get worried sometimes that we're going to get found out where he's so far up the pitch and we leave a gap and it can be exploited. It does worry me, but it's probably just because I'm a little bit old and I'm used to, you know, certain things done in certain ways. So I'm a little bit like, a
little bit set in your ways, Stan. You're a little bit set in your ways.
But it seems to be working.
Yeah.
Listen, to be the left midfielder.
We maybe lost the first goal. Maybe we lost the first goal that way with Zinchenko not being the best defender. Just letting the ball come forward, letting the player come forward and the ball go into the box. Maybe
They said
that
they've been working on that, right? The manager.
I've seen him do some pretty good slide tackles and stuff. I just think it's the fact he's so far up the pitch, he's not in a defensive position.
Emile Smith Rowe.
When the manager was asked in his interview about that first goal from the kickoff, he said, "Yeah, it's something that we've been working on." So does that mean that's something they've been working on specifically for us? That they identified something and thought they would try it, and it came off.
Yeah, as we saying earlier, it seemed like they overloaded that left side and played the ball down the right, so that when the cross came in, there was going to be a few players there. Stephen said Emile Smith Rowe doesn't have the fitness level to play 70 minutes. It will come though. I would sooner have Emile Smith Rowe on the pitch than Reis. Despite his goal, when fit, Emile Smith Rowe is a better player. I think they can each play a part as well. I would agree with you. I really want Emile Smith Rowe to perform for us in these next 3 months, because I think his future at Arsenal will be determined by these next 3 months, and if he can stay fit.
I think he's going to be another Wilshire, one of those players that's constantly hurt. Never
I hope you're wrong, Tony.
Potential.
I hope you're wrong.
I'd like to see Saka given a rest in the Europa League game, and I'd like to put him on the bench. But why not start Reis Nelson in that position?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Saka should be rested for this trip to Lisbon, and we will have a second game, let's say. Emile Smith Rowe wasn't successfully taking defenders on from the left side. He was just recycling the ball. We didn't get a threat on left until Nelson came on, with Zinchenko providing more width on the left. That's probably very true, Stan, that Emile Smith Rowe does tend to carry the ball, whereas Reis Nelson tries to get around the outside and cross the ball in.
Yeah, Nelson done that a couple of times in this game. Yeah, whereas I think ESR is more prone to trying to come into the middle. And if you can't come if you can't come into the middle, then the ball will go backwards.
Mm-hmm. Nelson had an impact that gave us an edge. Definitely. We'll talk about it now. We're coming up to the second half. Nelson, is he a fool? I was going to probably construct a title with the fool Nelson thing, but decided not to pick on you guys, Tony. Check out the Fool Nelson podcast, people. Lots of good stuff there. They were on last night. Stan, for the Xhaka role, do you think it's between Trossard, Emile Smith Rowe, and Vieira? Xhaka role. Yeah, that left 8. It's a good shout. Vieira, Trossard, Emile Smith Rowe.
I think any one of those could probably play in that role.
I still think if I had to pick one, I'd pick Zinchenko and play Tierney on the left. But
what you'll have to find out what the coup is about. Arsenal related, Tom. You're gonna have to read up. Morning from Los Angeles, Lawrence Manuel. Good to see you. Who would ever have thought that Ben White at this stage of the season would have more goals than Richarlison? Richarlison. Legend has it that ball is still bouncing around that corner flag somewhere. Legend has it that the wind was blowing so strong that he didn't get it on target, right? That's what he's going to say. Okay.
Yeah, the wind took it.
The wind took it. The second half, Erdegaard tried to lift the crowd. I saw noticeably we won a corner. At one point, I think we'd won 15 corners to 1. So we were well on top in terms of possession and dominance, but we were down 1-0. 57 minutes, the goal comes, Dan. The header. Bournemouth go 2-0 up.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised at the second one. I thought with the first one, lucky bastard, you caught us, off guard.
Second one the same, right?
Second one, I was like, hold on a minute, because we'd had so much of the possession. I mean, at one point they put up on the screen that we'd had something like 460 odd passes to that point in the game.
69.
And they'd had 69. And I was like, I mean, you've got to put the ball away now.
Exactly.
We need the goals.
Exactly. That was huge dominance, Tony.
Second goal. I did think though as well when we were 2-0 down. I did think of the Tottenham Man City game, and I thought, are we going to send a message where Tottenham were 2-0 up against City, weren't they, at half time, and they were all celebrating and all slapping each other on the back. End of the game, different story. And I was thinking to myself, can we do something like that? But I looked at the clock and it was something like 57 minutes. And we were still 2-0 down. And I thought, leaving it a bit late to score 3.
We hadn't been playing well enough. I thought up until the 57th minute, we hadn't been playing well enough. Go 2-0 down, and they're going to their supporters to celebrate, giving it loads. And I'm thinking, first of all, where are we going to get a goal from? And we're not playing well enough to grab 3 more goals. And football's a funny game, Tony. If you don't start well, you're not playing well, you're going to find it hard to come back from 2-0 down.
Yeah, but that's what's been good about this team. Usually we're in a league, then the other team scores, then we go back up. But we won a couple from being completely behind. Team doesn't want to give up. Wasn't pretty at all, but we did enough to get the 3 points. But time wasting, so it cost Bournemouth. If not, I don't think we would have scored that because I don't think Nelson had enough time to really get in his full form. But his shot was beautiful and right up in the top corner.
Yeah. Yeah, just I don't know. I was just like I was like running around the house like a school kid with that goal. You know what I mean? When that goal went in. Because you go 2-0 down, you don't think you're going to come back, and you get into the 97th minute, you don't think you're going to score that third goal. You've been waiting since the 69th minute when you equalize. But Stan, it would be 5 minutes later after that goal. I have to say I thought Partey lost his marker for that goal, but Partey met it right for the to get back to 2-1.
Yeah, again, a little bit like Ben Wright. I think Partey was so much far up the field. He was just like, right, enough is enough. I'm going to put this one in the back of the net. And you have to look at. I think something that gives us the edge is that look at the goal scorers for that game. Thomas Partey, our central defensive midfielder. Ben White, our right back.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the other one?
Reis Nelson, squad player.
A squad player who's been out on loan and was lucky to get off the bench. It's not like we're just depending on that one guy that plays through the middle, or that one guy on the wing to always be bringing us the assist or the goals. They're very well spread. And I think that could be the key to our success this season.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had Gabriel Jesus out of the team for so long now, who was probably the one that you would think is going to be where the goals are going to come from, or the goal involvements. Eddie was in there, started off well, he went off the ball. We've put Trossard in there, and he's done all right, and we're still doing it. We're not suffering because of that part in the middle that keep having to swap out this season, because everybody else is contributing to the goals. And I really think that having that attribute to this team could give us the edge.
Mm-hmm. When you look at that caption at the bottom, we have the first 14 games, and then the hyphen designates the World Cup. And we played 12 games now without Gabriel Jesus in the side, and we've won 4 of the last games. We had that tricky patch there where we lost to Everton, drew the Brentford, and lost to City. But we've since gone on 4 games. And for me, we have to keep winning. We can't drop any more points, at least up until this Liverpool game. The next 3 games are vital. We're going to play... who's next up in the league? It's Fulham away from home, and then we come Palace and Leeds at home.
I mean, look at when we played Man United away. The way that ended, I thought to myself, wow, that's like a championship winning performance to win in that fashion. Probably going to be one of our games of the season. We've done a similar thing, Tottenham. We broke a ghost there by winning there, and in the game. Just yesterday, you could even throw in there the Everton win, especially that we played them just recently before that, and it looked like that they'd worked us out. How are they going to respond? What's Arsenal going to do? How are they going to get around this low block? We smashed them.
Yeah,
and then that performance yesterday, I just keep seeing these performances, and I just keep thinking to myself, these are the performances that win titles.
So
Yeah,
definitely,
there's a lot of fight in the team. They never want to give up.
It
Keep
sends a
on
message
driving
out to
forward.
everybody else as well. It sends a message out that when you play Arsenal, you can't take your eye off them because they're not a sort of team that will like if you try and nick a goal early from them, they're not going to shrug their shoulders and just go into their shells. You're going to make them come out at you even more. That's what a performance like that sends out to everybody else. That we've got a tougher underbelly and we're more resilient than you actually think. We can go 2 goals behind with this young team, and we just get pissed off and come back.
yeah, and somehow
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
no more than this Mr. Nice Guy, and somehow able to turn it on. We're not playing well. We go 2 goals down, and we don't give up. And this Arsenal team, Tony, has given us some moments and memories this season. I'd like to encapsulate these moments and memories with a league title for the first time in 19 years.
Yeah, I think the team
Notwithstanding,
has it in them. Still worry about fatigue kicking in these last 3 months. Because, like I said, Saka's 2,800 minutes. Saliba's almost already at 3,000. It's a lot of miles on those legs. That's why you need to use and trust players like Nelson, because every time he's been called in, he comes in and helps. Now you have Trossard, you have Teabag, you have Smith Rowe if he can still stay healthy. So we got more depth now, and most of those players are still on the attack. So it's definitely achievable. But the main things is to be fatigue, I think. You just have to watch out for that. We got the mindset to do it.
The moments that we've been getting this season, the most recent ones, Eddie Nketiah scoring that late goal against Manchester United. We've gone to the well a few times. Another memory, another moment is Jorginho and Emmy Martin. What are we going to think about Jorginho scoring that goal, or if it was Emmy off the noggin? And this goal, Reis Nelson, like I said, the ball comes to him, Stan. I talked to Tony about this. Reis Nelson controls it on the chest. Controls it on chest. It drops to his right foot. He plays the touch off his right foot and sets his feet for a left foot shot, an iron shot into the corner.
He's a right-footed player as well.
Amazing.
Didn't he get an assist as well?
Yes, he got an assist for the Ben White goal.
I mean, that's a very good performance to come off the bench, and he helped win the game with his performance. You've got to say, an assist for that goal for Ben White, and the goal that he scored as well. He didn't look for a pass, did he? He was decisive. He was just like, give me the ball.
Yeah. These are the moments, as BX said, this season has so many cult classic moments so far that I'd like to remember this season on the back of a title win, though. I'd like to remember this season on the back of a title win. Tony?
Yeah, it's crazy. He's only played in 3 games, not even 100 minutes there.
What are his stats in the 3 games?
3 assists.
3 goals and 3 assists in 3 games, Stan.
Ooh.
It's not bad.
No.
We don't remember the 2 goals against Forest.
If you're the manager now, when you look to the bench, he has to be in your thoughts now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Mikel obviously takes a lot of what he sees people doing in training as well. I don't know what he's like in training, but he seems to be, when he's been given his opportunities, he's coming off the bench and doing it, where he's not saying, well, I need to start games. I need to start games in order to produce. He comes off the bench and he does stuff. So I think, I'm not having a dig at Eddie, but he should take note. You need to take your chances. You need to forge yourself into the manager's mind.
Yeah. Eddie maybe feels that he's already had some favorable treatment from Arteta, that he doesn't need to force the issue. He already seems to be somewhat of a pet project to Arteta. But do you remember Arteta bringing Nelson on, getting him ready? And Arteta had very, very quick words with him before he brought him on to make him, I guess, understand his responsibilities on the field.
Probably just said, no, please don't fuck it up.
Don't make me look like an ass.
Words of wisdom.
Please don't be like Willian and wait till the last game of the season to hit a goal of such fantastic quality. You want to do it. You want to do it in this game. Wait till the 97th minute. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell the linesman is we're going to get 7 minutes, right? Because this is what this is what Arteta was saying, Tony, on the sideline.
I thought he was actually predicting the Liverpool score against the Man United.
Yeah. Who knew? Arteta knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's played for 7 minutes. Maybe he knew they were going to give us 6 minutes, and it's like Bournemouth are going to waste 90 seconds, so might as well just give us the 7, Tony.
Yeah, that happens. They've been doing that a lot this season, and the team's time wasting and the extra time. You've been seeing extra minute or two quite often. Some of those games, they give them 8 minutes. It ends up being 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those 10-minute ones are like 13 minutes. It's like, I've just never seen so many long games before like this.
Well, Newcastle have almost given the blueprint, right? So people have seen what Newcastle have done at the Emirates, and even Man City, when they beat us at the Emirates, they were doing similar things. They were taking their time as well. Russ said, "What you guys are saying is correct, but we shouldn't be in these positions. I have to regularly score last-minute winners." This is true, Russ. We want to not. We can't do this every season.
This is not the way.
Half of it. This is not the way, because half of the Arsenal fan base,
now, isn't it? But this is the learning on the job.
Yeah,
and they're learning on the job, as I mentioned earlier, and they're finding the answer. It's not like they're learning where they're not. It's not like they're learning where they're like. How can I say? Let's say we're 3-2 ahead, and for some reason in the last few minutes we lose. 4-3. That's another lesson that you can learn. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like
we had that at Brighton.
Why couldn't you close the game out? Why couldn't you close it out? So this is something. This is like the other way, about how you come back. And obviously,
I think we've done it.
I mean,
we've done it always, Dan. We've done it each and every way. We did that at Brighton. We were 4-1 up, and they came back at us. Should have probably got it back to 4-3. But we went at Brighton 4-2. All I would say, Ross, is that Manchester City had to win the league in last May, by being 2 goals down. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want to be 2 goals down, but they had to score 3 goals to win it in the end, So big teams find a way. Big teams find a way to get the goals.
Yeah, but for me, with what Russ is saying, we still have to get our defense back to where it was, getting the clean sheets. We've been letting in goals left and right since the World Cup,
especially at home as well.
And I just think of Ramsdale and what he would say about a clean sheet, and a curse word,
Yeah.
Bastard and clean sheet. The bastard clean sheet. We want more of those. If Jesus returns, Stephen said, and we don't kick on, we may lose it. I think we have been playing better since Jesus is out, albeit we are conceding more. We just found the way to win games, and this is important when you have players out injured, that you can still continue and win games. Mr. Tom,
just the fact when Jesus does come back, just the fact that he's back will give the team a lift as a unit as well, because they believe in him, right? They all believe in him. Martinelli will be glad to see him back in the side. It will give everybody a lift.
Yep. Stephen, the assist for White's goal was Reis Nelson, I believe. Emile Smith Rowe was the header for Partey, the first goal, right? So there's the ball. There's some head tennis going on. Stan, the ball is headed back into the mix by
he headed it back
Emile Smith Rowe. Ben White has there's some shirt pulling going on in Ben White, and he falls to the ground dramatically. But Partey's there to whack it in off the goalkeeper, and 2-1. We're back in the game. Eddie should only worry about the favorable treatment he gets from me. All right, we did that one. The Reis Nelson assist, Tony. So Arteta's told Reis Nelson what to do. go and get an assist and score in the last minute. And he wastes no time in getting the assist. He comes on the 68th minute, and in the 69th minute, Ben White scores.
Yeah, his impact's been almost instant at all 3 times he's came on. You like to see him in there more, but he definitely goes in there. Kind of like what Smith Rowe was doing last year, going on there, getting goals, coming in on the 70th minute, getting 20 minutes, and he was getting a goal almost every game. And Nelson's kind of doing the same here. So hopefully we start seeing him more. I don't know what else he needs to do to earn Arteta's trust to be playing, but he's
I think
definitely
he's
an
earned it.
option out there.
I hope now he's earned it. You know, if Arteta had any doubt about Reis Nelson, and apparently he's out of contract in the summertime, so I would be in favor of giving him, you know, a renewed contract to use an Arsenal.
That's why I don't know why we keep looking at spending 70 to 90 million on wingers. We got them. You don't need to go waste that money on them.
We need a player who's going to be able to help Bukayo Saka. And Bukayo Saka can't
Nelson
play.
can't do that.
He can. He can play on the right wing for me.
You can't. You can't pull him off at 70 minutes and give Nelson 20 minutes every game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to do that. But what I want to do is win the league first. You know, first and foremost. Next season, Nelson can have a large role as well.
Yeah.
Plus, the Europa League's coming up, as we said, in Lisbon. We're probably going to see the T is going to be a little bit weaker. You know, I think it should be 5 or 6 changes. I think there should be 5 or 6 changes.
Yeah, but if he does do that, you still see the starters. All of them. Every game so far, at least 10 of the starters have played.
I think Granit Xhaka and Ben White didn't start the game because they were being rested for Thursday. So Ben White and Granit Xhaka are definitely going to start in Portugal for me. Russ says Nelson is ahead of Emile Smith Rowe in the pecking order, hands down. That could be just a fitness thing right now, if that's how you put him ahead. 3 90-plus winners so far in 2023. I'd like to see some more calm games where we win them 2-0 without too much controversy or issue. 90-minute winners are sexy, brah. Did you know the Man City last game before the international break is postponed because of the FA Cup? So we could go 8 points clear before that international break, probably with having played that game extra. Big teams find the way.
I hate having these international breaks after you already had a World Cup in the middle of the season.
We've had some good rhythm here in the last 8 days, though. We've last weekend we beat who was it we beat last weekend? Leicester City. And then we went and beat Everton 4-0. And now we got this win. So
I'm still trying to find the luchador. He usually appears after 4-0.
After that 4-0 win, yeah. Tony, 69 minutes. Reis Nelson cross, but Ben White, great connection on the ball. Right, great connection to get that on target.
Yeah, there's a good pass too. And the pass to Nelson on the last one was good too. But it's nice to see. I think Ben White's probably the best one at striking the ball out of the defense. Gabriel usually does it with headers. Saliba with headers since he's tall as fuck. But Ben White's good at striking the ball. Surprised he doesn't actually have more goals since he's played so far forward most of the time.
This is all about getting the ball on target for me. Stan, that ball's coming at Ben White really fast and hard. Controls it on the half volley and gets it on target.
Yeah, and I'm glad they got that technology thing that goal line
The buzzer.
Yeah, that's a good bit of technology.
Should be an electric shock, in my opinion.
When it happened so quickly. I thought the keeper saved it.
Yeah, me too. But all of the players reacted so quickly. I was watching it back. Martinelli in that sequence is over the byline, so he can see right across. And Martinelli's quite convinced it's a goal.
I just like how fast Why can't VAR be that fast? It's just that goal
Yeah,
just a few seconds after the
because
goal went in, and they're like, it's a goal.
it's a tool that's used by other tools, human beings. Our Thunder Road said Emile Smith Rowe assisted Partey's goal. Nelson assisted White's goal. 71 minutes then, Stan. Ben White scored. It's over the line. 2-2. Game on, right?
Yeah.
Thought we could go on and win the game then.
But as I said, it was about 57 minutes. I remember when I was thinking about Man City beating Spurs 4-2, I was thinking like, can we do a comeback? And I looked at the clock and it was like 57 minutes. So I was thinking to myself, well, maybe if we can get a draw, we're going to drop 2 points. I thought it was maybe the time was we didn't have enough time to get the job done. So, the football gods gave us an extra 7 minutes. Happy days.
Yeah. Arteta knew.
Don't worry, you'll have enough time. You'll have enough time. It's 7 minutes.
Somebody wins, Reis forgetting who they beat. The arrogance. Yeah, listen, we've had to be pretty consistent. Craig said Arsenal were 5 points clear when the World Cup started and still 5 points clear.
You know what, though? I do find it very amusing. I've been looking through Twitter and people like Richard Keys and other people complaining about, although Arsenal may have played a good game, I just want to point out that last goal was actually scored in minute 7. And I'm like, fuck, this is what it must have been like back in the day to have been a Man United supporter. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone used to talk about the extra time that, the refs want them to win it. I saw people saying it's obvious that the refs want Arsenal to win the title. And I'm like, really? If that was the case, they wouldn't have taken away 10 points against Brentford for a start. Do you know what I mean?
We wouldn't have had 6 minutes. We wouldn't have had 6 minutes of added time. Right?
I just find it so amusing that we're being spoken about like Man United back in the day. And it's like on the 90th minute, one of their players was just sat down on the pitch.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That time has to get added on.
Yeah.
Man just sat down on the pitch, done a William Gallas.
You know what I've started doing as well, Stan? Whenever the goalkeeper is lining up to take the kick, I'm counting the seconds. It's 15 to 20 seconds every time. And I'm sure professional footballers doing the same thing. They're counting the seconds when they're taking a throw in as well. The referee's allowing them 7 or 8 seconds, and then the referee will blow his whistle. Okay, come on. And then they've got another 2, 3, 4 seconds on top of that. As Craig said, we have kept pace with City, or City have kept pace with us, whatever way we want to look at it, since the World Cup break. 26 points from 12 games for both of us. We've both dropped to 8 points since the World Cup.
We really need another City, fuck up, because they've had a few this season. We really need them to drop points again unexpectedly. Yeah,
it would be welcome. It would be welcome, but probably we have to feel like they're going to be as consistent as us, or we have to be as consistent as them and keep that 5 point. It's almost like mind the gap time, Stan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If we can have one weekend where we get 3 points and they don't, and we get an 8 point cushion, wow, man, that's nice.
Very quickly, we
they
can
have a Champions League to worry about.
Exactly.
They have that to worry. They have that to worry about.
Fixtures coming up too. So,
the Champions League is the holy grail for Pep Guardiola. I'm quite comfortable. I wouldn't feel bad if they won it this year, despite them being who they are. You know what I mean?
None of the rest of the English teams are being good. So,
next weekend, Tony, we go away to Fulham and City go away to Palace. 2 difficult games for both the teams.
And both of them are going to be tricky. Hopefully, we kind of slay the demon with Palace being our bogey team the last 3-4 seasons.
So City play Palace next weekend. We play Fulham.
Yeah.
And Fulham are a decent outfit. Probably slightly easier game for them, Stan, going to Palace.
You'd think so.
Mm-hmm. On the face
you'd think so. But as you say, with Fulham, they have played some nice football this season.
And they're riding.
So that's not one that you go into taking lightly at all.
No, definitely would. That's another reason why we would want to maybe have a weaker team in Lisbon, and
Good.
save some of our powder for next weekend.
Don't forget how well Palace has been doing at Selhurst Park, Ray.
Exactly. We're gonna get to Kahoot in about 10 minutes, everybody. So we're gonna get through a couple other things here, and then the man of the match, Tony's gonna reveal. Thunderred said, Tony, countries have qualifiers for Euros and African Cup of
Do it
Nations.
all in the summer.
The World Cup postponed those, so the upcoming international break serves purpose. These aren't friendlies. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not helpful. My dog was trying to make a nest on my bed. Okay.
Yeah, he's up there for like
Just
a
going
minute
back
and a
like
half,
the
just digging.
international break, I noticed that none of our Brazilian players have got called up, which I'm pretty happy about.
Oh, the call-up's been announced already, Stan.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember seeing something about that. None of our Brazilians, and
Well,
I think Richarlison's got called up ahead of, you know.
I mean,
Good.
if the object of the game is about hitting corner flags, then he'd be one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I'm not sure if Saka's been called up. He will. And again, you know, we're talking about a player that we need to have some rest. I wonder if he'll pick up a slight niggling injury so that he can't go on international duty.
The player who plays every game for Arsenal picks up a slight. This is a Sir Alex Ferguson ploy again, you know, squeaky bum time. Now, Man United fans were too busy getting the bus back to Cornwall to know what was being said about them. Ramsdale does these same things.
That's when you say Saka has a tight thigh or something
Listen,
like that.
Here's what I'll say about time wasting. The team that's in the league has every right to try to bleed the clock. That's what I'm going to say. If we're complaining about the time that and I'm going to complain because we're behind, but I also understand Bournemouth were in the lead, and it's their right to bleed the clock as
There's
much
been
as
a lot
possible.
of it this year.
Arsenal will do it. We're in the league when we're in the lead as well. Maybe we don't see it as much. When you're down, when you're the opposing team that's down and you want to get back in the game, you're going to complain about it each and every time. But
Just that
The ball goes out
week,
for a throw in, right?
Oh,
Player A goes over. He picks up the ball. He looks around.
yes,
He drops the ball on the floor. Meanwhile, the guy that's going to take the throw in is just walking towards that area. He's not jogging.
Mhm.
He's not running. He's time wasting. If you're
Yeah.
behind, you see how fast them throw-ins get taken. It's like the ball's
Mhm.
out. It's back in play. It's just part
Yeah.
of the game, right?
yeah, I didn't. The other
Smart.
week, I didn't think Tommy Ossie was time wasting trying to throw that ball in.
Ramsdale time wasted like a MF at Allen Road. Yeah. Listen, that's the thing that you'll try to do. You're trying to wind up the support. You're trying to break up the game, especially Arsenal. Arsenal, a team who thrive on flow, you know, and rhythm in the game, and keeping the opponents bottled in and continually getting the ball back at the 40-yard line and keep pressing, probing, moving the ball around. And I thought we did that really well in the last 30 minutes of yesterday's game. 10 matches in the summer. It can only be Tony Turner. Tony's like Arsene Wenger, who proposed having World Cups every 2
Well,
years.
you basically have a Euro every now. They got the fucking Euro, UEFA,
Yeah,
whatever
but
it's called now.
that was such an on Arsene Wenger type of thing to say. Let's have a World Cup every 2 years. What's that all about? You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's every year, actually. I thought.
All right. Is there a need to keep talking about the Reis Nelson goal? Because I've been playing that over and over. I've been watching that over and over.
We could talk about Reis Nelson. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, let's
Goal.
talk about Reis Nelson, and then we'll get to the man of the match people, the Tony Don Juan, and then we play a quick game of Kahoot. Go ahead, Tony. Start it off. Reis Nelson, okay, we've kind of danced around this a little bit. He deserves a contract, right? An Arsenal. Or
Yeah,
what do you think?
I remember, I think it's 4 years ago now, that I was like, we need to sell Eddie and we need to put Nelson out on loan. Because I always thought Nelson had it. Emery used him kind of got tired because he wasn't used to playing that many minutes. But I think there's a player in there. This last loan's definitely helped him. Should have came a little sooner. But I think he's definitely good enough to come on doing that 20, 25, 30 minutes at the end of the game, giving Saka the rest he needs. Saka doesn't need to be playing 90. He doesn't need to be starting in basically every Europa game. I mean, you got a talented player. You've seen that he's gotten out there every game he's played, goal and assist. And you can't ask for anything more. He's showing it. Arteta should give him more trust. I still don't like that about Arteta. Like I said, to me, he only trusts 11, 12, 13 players. But I think there's pretty good player in there. I think he'll become even better. His movement's nice. Definitely can strike it well. And probably his best ability is his passing. And that kind of helps up front. It's speedy. It's to where it needs to go. He's got good vision. And he's a player I've always liked.
Yeah. Did he win the Conference League with his loan club last year? If not, he got to the final.
Yeah, I don't know if they won or not.
I agree with everything you're saying, Tony. This is a player who can help Bukayo Saka, probably our best player at the club. You know, our talisman, Bukayo Saka. We want Saka to be with the team and not injured for many, many seasons. He seems to be a very durable kid, Bukayo Saka. But in saying that, he can't. Okay, I get what Arteta's saying. He's got to play every game like he's a superstar, but you can't play physically every game. And even there's going to be cup games, you know, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Europa League now, probably Premier League games next season when we're involved in the Champions League and Saka will be playing Champions League football. There's definitely a part for Reis Nelson to play and to be part of the squad and to accept, you know, a position sitting behind Bukayo Saka especially. I put up the Kahoot pin there, 464-5266. So do join. We're going to have a quick game of that. Time wasting is part of the game now. Both teams will do it depending on the situation in the same game. Exactly. It's up to the referee, Stephen O'Toole. I think it's up to the referee to manage the game. The referee has to manage all aspects of the game. That includes handing out yellow cards, giving free kicks, talking to the players, managing the temperature of the game, but also keeping the game moving along. You know, we're hearing things about actual game time within games being 60-some minutes. We'd want to be playing, the teams want to play for closer to 90 minutes. You know, you go to see a 90-minute game and the ball's actually in play for 60 minutes. There's something wrong there, and the FA's got to look at that. Hello, guys. Hope everyone's well. 00 Slice X is in the house. We'll do a roll call toward the end as well. I wonder if Reis Nelson loves wrestling and being on StreamYard at midnight. You could ask him, call him up for sure. All right, so let's see how many people are in the Kahoot right now. All right, we got 3 people in there right now. So grab that pin, people. Get in there, and we'll talk. We'll talk about man of the match after the game. That hamstring injury earlier in the season definitely stalled Nelson's progress. Hopefully he can stay fit because he could be very useful. Mr. Bungle's in the house. What's cooking, people? We're enjoying winning games, Mr. Bungle, and we have to get 3 points. I think we have to get 3 points in this part of the season because we're going to get to a point in late April where we face City, Chelsea, and Newcastle. Those are 3 of the last 6 games. And we're going to need to win. We're going to need to win many games and many points before that. I think we need to build up a buffer until we get to that point. Craig said if we don't drop points to City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, maybe the league title will come to Arsenal. I think we will be okay, Craig, with maybe drawing a couple of those games. I think we're going to lose one of them. I've sort of earmarked one game that I think we're going to lose in these next 12. But if we can win I have us down. I was winning 7 more games, and drawing 4 more games. And that will be enough for us, I think, if we win 7 and draw 4. Or if we win 9 games, as somebody has said. Let's be clear. Steven said, let's be clear. Nelson gets an extension contract only because he's needed, but not on 100,000 a week. I don't know what he's on right now. Tony, do you know what he's on?
I can look it up real quick.
Okay, well, you don't have to. As would City and Fulham. Okay, let's see. All right, we got about 7 people in there. I'm going to start sharing the stream now. Sharing the window, you'll be able to see it, give you another opportunity to drop in there and see who wins this weekend, right? And it's 30 seconds. Sam Greenwood is 30 seconds now, you know? All right, we have Stephen O'Toole in there. We have Mario Kart FC. Nelson is no fool. We have Thunder Party. Tried to be a good guy. And Mr. Tom Bebe. So it's hard to identify who's who. But we'll give everybody another 60 seconds to grab that
15,000 a
pin.
week, Ray.
15. Okay.
Yep.
I think we can find a number somewhere between 15 and 100 that will be acceptable to Reis Nelson and his entourage, right? That's the right word. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to start in about 1 minute here. Give everybody a chance to get in. We've got 6 players playing right now. Let's put the music on. Yeah, so listen, I think Reis Nelson will want to stay at Arsenal as well.
I think about Reis though, right? Why do we have to make a decision now? Why can't we give him more opportunities, to the end of the season? Like why can't he start instead of Saka at the Euros, at the Europa, see how he goes, and then we make a decision at the end of the season instead of rushing into something?
Yeah, people are just worried, Stan, because his actual his contract is up in the summer, and that's the reason. Is he actually Is he a free agent right now, Tony? Like, could he talk to clubs?
If his contract's over, then he could already sign a
He
free
could already be
contract.
talking. Yeah. All right. We got 5 seconds. We're going to start here. We got Stephen O'Toole, Mario Kart. Nelson is no fool. Thunder Party. Tried to be a good gunner. And Mr. Tom. Bebe. Here we go. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 2. We're starting the quiz. I played for Arsenal, Bournemouth, and West Ham. Who am I? I play for Arsenal, Bournemouth, West Ham. Benik Afobe, Jack Wilshere, Liam Brady, Thomas Vermaelen. I played for Arsenal, Bournemouth, and West Ham. All right, 6 correct answers. Jack Wilshere is correct for everyone. Tried to be a good guy in the lead. Nelson is no fool. Is also there in second place. Mr. Tom Bebe. Is Mr. Tom like all of these in the top 3, or does he have 3 different accounts? Last season, who forced injury time goals at home to Palace and Wolves? This was last season. Pepe, Saka, Laka, or Martinelli? Who forced injury time goals at home to Palace and Wolves? 2-2 draw for Palace. Last minute's goal. And the winner against Wolves. Lacazette is correct. He did force the OG off of Jose Sa, I think it was, from Wolves. Okay, tried to be a good guy in the lead. Nelson is no fool. Second, Thunder Party up in the 3rd place. Making a move, Thunder Party. True or false? Reis Nelson was an unused substitute in 2020 FA Cup final 2-1 win over Chelsea. Reis Nelson was an unused substitute in the FA Cup final of 2020. True or false? We have 3 correct answers of true. We have 3 incorrect answers are false. Nelson is no fool. Is up in the first place. Thunder Party on a
Right.
yeah.
Go break.
What?
Hold on.
What?
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Oh. Okay. I don't know if he's playing. I guess I'll have to keep playing. Tony's dropping out.
He's trying to get his encyclopedias from the other room.
Describe Thomas Partey's Ghana flag. Green, white, green. Solid red with a green star. Red, yellow, green with a star. Or red, white, black. Describe Thomas Partey's Ghana flag. This is fun with flags. Three correct answers. Red, yellow, green with a star. Nelson is no fool. Is in second place. Thunder Party in first place. He's come with a surge here. Stephen is in third place also. Thunder Party has a streak with 4 correct answers in a row. Okay, the next one up. Also true or false. Aaron Ramsdale made his Premier League debut against the same team Marquinhos is presently on loan to. Aaron Ramsdale made his Premier League debut against the same team Marquinhos is presently on loan to. True or false? 3 correct answers of true. Aaron Ramsdale made his Premier League debut against Norwich City. Marquinhos is presently on loan there. Stephen O'Toole is in the lead. 3,086 points. Thunder Party second. Tried to be a good guy. Is in third place. All right, halfway through, everybody. What is Benjamin White's middle name? Actually, Tom might know this one. I wasn't thinking about that. What is Benjamin White's middle name? William, Lewis, Henry, or Philip? Sorry, Tony. I kept going. I didn't know if you missed one or not. Anyway, 2 correct answers. William is indeed correct. It is not Henry. It is not Philip.
Yeah, I went down in the poll. Ooh, look at me go back up.
Are you Nelson is no fool?
Who else would put a fucking pirate patch on a unicorn?
Thunder Party. You're in good company, Tony, with Thunder Party third and Stephen O'Toole in first place here. It's still wide open. Five to go. Emile Smith Rowe has been on loan at this club. Bournemouth, Barnsley, Hull City, or Huddersfield. Everybody's probably liking the 30 seconds, right? After Sam's 2 weekends. Okay, 5 correct answers. Huddersfield. Emile Smith Rowe. Thunder Party second. Tried to be a good guy third. Leading the way is Stephen O'Toole. Stephen's going to bring it home today, I think. I have a good feeling about Stephen doing this. 5 in a row for Stephen. All right, 4 to go. When Reis Nelson scored that winning goal yesterday, who celebrated by kicking the corner flag? When Reis Nelson scored that winning goal yesterday, who celebrated by kicking the corner flag? Zinchenko, Saliba, White, or Martinelli? 4 correct answers for William Saliba. Did you know that one, Tony?
Nope, did not know that one.
Stephen is in the lead. 6 in a row for Stephen. Thunder Party second. And
I was too busy running around or rolling around the living room at the time.
What is the combined amount of goals Arsenal have now scored against Bournemouth? What is the combined amount of goals in these 2 games this season Arsenal have now scored against Bournemouth? 5, 6, 7, or 8? Correct answer was 6. We won 3-0 with William Saliba actually scoring a goal at their place. Odegaard getting 2 also.
I think
3-0
you
at
like
their
gifts
place.
more than I do, right?
I'm only allowed 1 picture on that. So 3 in a row. Thunder Party is back in the game. Okay. Stephen O'Toole still has a decent lead. How many Premier League teams, including Bournemouth, begin with the letter B? 1, 2, 3, or 4? How many other teams including Bournemouth, how many teams have the letter B? Right. It is Brentford, Brighton, and Bournemouth. Correct answer is 3. Stephen's in the lead. It looks like you're going to bring it home, Stephen. One more question to go. Thunder Party second. Tried to be a good guy in third. Nelson is no fool. Has a chance to be on the podium. Just behind. Tried to be a good guy. Here we go. What squad number does Reis Nelson have on his shirt? 21, 24, 26, or 29? What squad number does Reis Nelson have on his shirt? We have 2 correct answers. If you said 24, you were correct. So now we're going to get to the podium here. Third place is Tried to Be a Good Guy. I think that might be Mr. Tom. Stephen is in second place. And the winner is Thunder Party. That was a close game. Thunder Party, correct. Congratulations, Thunder Road. I'm assuming it is. So well done. Thunder Road first. Stephen O'Toole second. Try to be a good guy third. All right.
I tried to play by the
Well
rules.
played. You tried to play by the rules?
It's
Did
an
it work?
in-joke. No.
Yeah. Is that a residual from last night's podcast?
It is.
Okay. I shall ask no further questions. As that may incriminate me in some way. I don't know. It won't incriminate me, right? Okay. Man of the match, Stan. Who are your thoughts for the man of the match? Congratulations to Thunder Road for winning the Kahoot this weekend.
Man of the match. I want to give it to Reis Nelson. I know that he didn't play the whole match.
Yeah.
But I want to give it to Reis Nelson for an assist, which helped get us, which was helped getting us on the way, and the goal at the end. So I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah. Any other candidates? You want to throw a few out, or just leave it at that?
I'm happy to leave it at that.
Okay. I'm gonna say Thomas Partey. I thought he was all over the pitch, and he was culpable for not marking or losing his marker for the second goal, but he got up there and was part of the comeback. Got on the end of the Emile Smith Rowe header, which started it all, and I think he was very, very important in maintaining control in the second half and keeping the bottleneck and all of the flow going towards Bournemouth. And you watch that goal back that Reis Nelson scored, and those Bournemouth players are dropping to their knees. They're out on their feet. So yeah, that's the two candidates for me anyway. Definitely Reis Nelson needs to get a mention as well. That hamstring, 00 Slice says that hamstring injury earlier in the season definitely stalled Nelson's progress. So Stan, as you usually do, I have a little bit of a banner here called Roll Call, but you're really good at recalling everyone who's been here and giving them a shout out. If you want to do that, I bestow that honor upon you, or if you want me to do it, I can do it.
Go on then.
Is that me?
Yeah, go on.
All right, roll call. Mr. Tom was here. Stephen O'Toole was here. Craig is here. Mr. Bungle was here. And it's really just me going back through the chat. And Thunder Road was here. Mr. Bungle, as I said, thanks for joining, Mr. Bungle. Stephen O'Toole. 00 Slice X was here. Medic cheese. Medic cheese. Anyway, you all know what I'm trying to say there, right? BX Gunner was here as always. Who else was here? Tony.
Steve
Tony was
Denham.
here.
Did you say Steve?
Steve Denham was here. Stephen, the Arsenal Misfit, was here. Russ Morgan was here. So we do appreciate everyone. Dan Tatum dropped in and said, so I expected a little bit more, whether that was trolling or not. I don't know. The Assembled was here. Lawrence Emmanuel was here early on. And
Where's Reddy been lately? He hasn't been here too much with us.
Reddy went to the Woolwich Arsenal this morning. I've seen some pictures from his timeline. Taib was here to say hello to Mahir was here also. Stan, I appreciate you for dropping by as well. I know you're feeling the effects of a long podcast last night. Is that true or not true?
No, I had an enjoyable time last night watching King of the Ring 1998. It was good fun.
So, thankfully you were able to drop by as well. Henry Ray Baker was here. Don Juan was here in the roll call. Thank you everybody for being here. Revenite was here, reveling in that 7-0 win over. What you think of that game, Stan? Did you see Liverpool?
No, I've not seen it, but I am going to be watching Match of the Day 2 when that comes on,
right?
So I can watch that from the sofa. Should be interesting.
Steven said, "Right when this show kicks off, you will be calling names all night." Yeah, exactly. All right, Tony. I have put forward Thomas Partey as a nominee for the Don Juan.
I agree with
match.
Stan. I'm pretty sure Stan said Nelson.
Reis Nelson. Yep. He's a worthy candidate. If you're going to win the league, we've seen Manchester United do this over the years. We've seen City do this over the years. They've had players pop up and score goals. Players you would not think of because they're squad players, obviously, right?
I think this is definitely the first time the third player playing in that position's won. Don't ever remember the double sub win.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you mean? You don't mean a double? What's a double sub? What's that mean?
Yeah. Trossard going off.
It's like you get two baguettes.
Going off.
And then, no? Oh.
It's like you got a bad baguette and you returned it for a good baguette, right? Twice. Yeah. Right. Trossard going off. Then Emile Smith Rowe came in and played a few minutes. And then Reis Nelson came in and stole the show. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
All right. And listen, that's the whole thing with that is obviously Emile Smith Rowe and his injury, and we gotta nurse him back. I think the Arteta did right by him. Okay, so Arsenal win 3-2. We continue on this quest. We have to march before we can run in. Okay. Any other thoughts, Stan, on the actual game that we saw yesterday?
Just very pleased. Enjoyed it. Looking forward to the next game. Yep.
And the next game, obviously, it will be the Europa League, but Fulham away from home, and the two of them will take care of themselves. Tony, any thoughts on yesterday's game before we have a quick word about Lisbon and then we get out of here?
To me, it's probably the best celebration we've seen this year. It's worthy of it being down 2-0, ended up winning 3-2. Like seeing the emotion from the team. But other than that, not really much to say.
Right. And I'd like to give a shout out to Melvin. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday, Melvin Marks.
Happy birthday, Melvin.
And to all the Gunners who were over there to see that game. Okay, Stan, what do you want to see on Thursday night? And, we'll be reviewing the game, but let's have a quick word about on Thursday night. We'll be reviewing what happened, but I'm looking myself to see a much rotated team, probably 5 or 6 changes from what you would say is a full strength Arsenal side.
Yep. I'd like to see the same. I'd like to see somebody like Kieran Tierney playing. Obviously, like you said, Ben White and Xhaka were probably rested for this one. Maybe Jorginho can go back in.
Yep, definitely.
And I
Reis Nelson.
don't see why somebody like Saka can't be on the bench, and let's start Reis Nelson.
Yeah.
No,
Tony. So Turner, the goalkeeper, want to bring him in. Kieran Tierney is crying out for a game. So please God, give him a game on Thursday night and let him have a full game. Zinchenko can rest. Granit Xhaka is going to come in probably. Jorginho will come in. Fabio Vieira should play. Erdegaard might be on the bench as well. The interesting thing is we didn't get to see a lot because Trossard got injured. Martinelli through the middle. What did you think about that real quick in yesterday's game?
well,
There's a lot of people want to see Martinelli through the middle.
Who's going to play for the middle on Thursday? Because isn't Eddie and both Trossard out?
Yeah, so it could be Martinelli.
It would have to be Martinelli, but then that means that he's not getting any rest, is he?
No, but he's in a rich. He scored 3 games on the trot before this game.
But he's going to play for 90 minutes in the Europa League, and then the league game.
Yeah,
there's going to have to be some kind of an adjustment somewhere.
So I think Reis Nelson will get some minutes in these probably on Thursday night. Saka may. We talk about Saka, but he may have to play as well on the right side, just because of our injuries up front.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll leave it there. Stan, give us your final thoughts and we'll get out of here. Thanks for being here, Stan.
No, my final thoughts, as I say, I just really enjoyed what I saw yesterday, and I'm looking forward to see what happens now in the Europa League, and I'm looking forward to, as you say, to the rotation and seeing how some of these players on the fringes can try and impress the manager.
This is the time of season now. We talked about this on Thursday and last Thursday night forum that these squad players have to start coming to the fore. And Gary's been calling for it specifically. My only issue has been if you bring in squad players, you reduce the quality on the field and you run the risk of dropping points. We very nearly dropped points. I'm not saying it was Tomiyasu's fault. I'm not saying it was Vieira's fault. But those 2 players were in the starting lineup. We went a goal down. We went 2 goals down, and we had to go to the well and win the game. But the Europa League presents an opportunity for these players to play meaningful minutes. With all of that being said, thank you, Tony, for being here. Hopefully you can get to wherever you need to get to between now and 7 o'clock in the evening, and you get your final say, Tony. We'll wish everybody good evening.
It's nice to actually experience for roller coaster because I think that's the most I've celebrated a goal in a long time. Rolling around in the living room.
Were you literally doing that? You're wheeling around?
Yeah.
Did you do wheelies? Up in the air?
Not this time.
Did you do were you cornering?
Yes.
I'd like to see that one day. But yeah, it really it was one of those games, right?
Yeah, it was one of those games that just gives you excitement, seeing the fight in the team, and then getting the goal at the last chance corner. Just hit perfectly to Nelson, and Nelson chested down, switches it to his other foot. I mean, Eddie had that ability to have that first touch like that. And the second chance is just. I've always liked the kid, so I'm happy for him. Hopefully, he starts getting some minutes.
Yeah, another one
and a new deal.
Another one from Hale End, and long may it continue. This could be the year. I'm just going to say it silently right now. This could be the year. Let's keep piling some wins on, some points on, and let's make City worry about that other competition more.
Yeah, you're not in with this is the way.
This is the way. We have to do it. Listen, if you haven't dropped a like on the video right now, please do so before you leave. I've dropped a backstage pass for anyone who wants to come in and say hello. Do that after we are out of here. Stan, take care. We'll see everyone on Thursday. Take care, Tony. And take
How
care,
the
all
hell
of
do
you
we
out there.
only have 5 likes, lazy people?
Hit those likes on the way out, please. Take care. We'll see you next one. Come on, you Gooners.